Okay, so here is the data set we're supposed to use for this week's assignment. The assignment asks us to calculate 8 confidence intervals. And just a reminder of what a confidence interval is. So a confidence interval is 2 numbers. And the confidence interval tells you how many, how big of a spread of the numbers that the mean is likely to be, or the population proportion is likely to be. So like if this is maybe the mean score on a particularly rough test, the confidence interval is between 23 and 64. That means the actual true score is somewhere between those two numbers likely. Okay, it's never a guarantee in statistics, but numbers with a confidence interval, a lower bound and an upper bound, trying to estimate where the true population mean is. Okay, they want us to calculate 8 confidence intervals for this assignment. So to do that, there's 4 different categories of numbers that we're using. You have male resting heart rate, you have male after exercise heart rate, you have female resting heart rate, which would be, just as an example, females, they said was 1, and then this is the resting heart rate. So this would be what we use to calculate the female resting heart rate, and then female after exercise. Okay, and then that's only 4. The reason why they're saying 8 confidence intervals is because they want us to calculate both 95% and 99% confidence intervals. The difference between these two is that a 99% confidence interval has a bigger spread in the values. Because if you want to be more confident, you've got the true population mean, then you've got a bigger spread, a bigger net to cast. So 2 different confidence intervals for each of those 4 categories. It makes 8 confidence intervals total. Okay, but I'm going to move these numbers off to the side because we're not ready to calculate the confidence interval yet. There's a few things we need. We need the mean of each group. We need the standard deviation. Abbreviate. We need the sample size in order to make the confidence interval formula work. And we're going to be calculating the margin of error based on those. Okay, so we remember how to calculate a mean, probably. Type in equals average. I'm about to calculate the mean for the male resting group. So I'm only clicking and dragging on the resting column, and I'm going to stop when I'm done with the males, when I'm done with the zeros. So I clicked and dragged, and then I close the parentheses. There's the mean. Same thing with standard deviation. Type equals stdev.s. You open that parentheses, and then click and drag that data set again. Remember, you just want the resting heart rate, and you want to stop dragging once you're done the section of males, because we do them section by section, category by category. And then the sample size, you could count every single number, but a quicker way to do that in Excel is to type equals count, open a parentheses, click and drag. Oops. And then again, you want to stop once you get done with the males, because we're supposed to be doing resting heart rate for males here. Then close the parentheses. What went wrong here? Because it came up as a weird percentage. I don't know why that's coming up as a percentage. Let me try one more time here. Oh, it says up here. So I was messing around with the data set. Well, that shouldn't be a percentage, though. Yeah, okay. So it's just because of my particular Excel sheet. I had been messing around before I made this video, and it had defaulted to a percentage, but we want it as a number. Equals count, open a parentheses, and it starts on C5, and I put a colon, and then I'm going to put the endpoint, C107. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Okay, now we're ready to start making the margin of error, and we'll do it for 95% first. The margin of error for a 95% confidence interval is going to be different than a margin of error for a 99% confidence interval. Okay, so to calculate the margin of error, in Excel, you can type in equals confidence, and then you can do a Z distribution. Let's see, what's this one, Z? Yeah, so this is technically the right one to use because we don't know the population standard deviation. But if you use this one, it's going to be close enough. I'm not going to mark it wrong either way. So 95% confidence interval means you have 5% in the left and right tails combined. So that's your alpha. Alpha is the amount that's in the tails, the decimal form of the percentage. So for all 95% confidence intervals, use 0.05 for alpha. The standard deviation we have over here is 7.84384, and then the sample size is 103. That's what we calculate here for n. Close that parentheses, and then again, it's because I messed up my version of Excel, but we want that as a number, not a percentage. There we go. I don't know why mine's doing percentages, but there's our margin of error. So we're ready to make the confidence interval, okay? The confidence interval is found by taking the mean and subtracting the margin of error. That's the lower bound, the smaller of the numbers we talked about at the beginning of the video. So 79.1, subtract that by 1.53, that's 77.57 for the lower bound, with the parentheses. And in the upper bound, you take the mean, 79.1, and add the margin of error to it. So 80.63 is the upper bound. And there, we've completed one of the 8 confidence intervals. Okay, to do it for the 99% confidence interval, same thing, except the margin of error, we need to go back to the confidence interval format. Equals confidence.t, and then alpha is 0.01. Because we have 99% confidence interval, it means you got 1% in the tails. Standard deviation 7.84384, and sample size 103. So bigger margin of error. You just have to repeat that process. You got a mean of 79.1, subtract the margin of error, which is 2.03 for the 99% confidence interval. So that's our lower bound. And then take 79.1 and add the margin of error, and that's your upper bound. Okay, so I've done that for male resting heart rate. Now you want to do it again for male after exercise heart rate. And then you want to do it again for female resting heart rate and for female after exercising heart rate. So this is female resting. You want to click and drag a different set of numbers, the ones with ones next to them. And then same thing for after exercise. Okay, but you can message me if you get stuck on any of those steps, and I'll be glad to help.